all of you. With that said, I'm going to check in with Brad, and if he's available to share, I'm going to hand the microphone straight to him. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning. So great to hear your voices every day. Makes my day and gets me ready for the weekend. So, thank you all for all your shares so far. It's good stuff. So, I'm going to throw in here real quick if we're talking about effortless productivity. The one thing that just popped in my head instantly was habit, creating a habit. If something is truly a habit, I mean, you basically do it effortlessly. So when you look at what those important productivity items are and you literally commit to doing it, and create that habit, form that habit, and where it just happens without you even thinking about it, then it's going to be effortless, right? I know one of the things, Gary Keller wrote a book called The One Thing, and he's basically focusing about mastering one thing. And in that, he talks about creating a habit, and he uses Jerry Seinfeld as an example. And I love this example because it really shows how effortlessly somebody can really create something amazing. So, whether you like Jerry Seinfeld or not, does everyone admit, flash your mics, he's funny, right? I mean, if you've heard Jerry Seinfeld, he's funny. And what he did to create his habit for telling a funny joke is he, for 66 days or for 30 days in a row, every month, he had to tell a funny joke. And one of the things they say is it's 21 days to a habit. Gary dug in on that a little bit more and found out through some research that it's more like 66 days to anchor that habit and make it a habit. What I interpreted from that was it's 21 days of doing something and you are about to have a habit, but you have to keep doing it past 21 days. Perfect example, January 1st, going to the gym, right? I mean, if you don't make it to March or April, it's not a habit yet. And other things can distract us. So Jerry Seinfeld told a funny joke every day. He had to go tell some joke every day that made somebody literally laugh. Well, if you did that for a month, 2 months, 3 months, a year, look at his show. He has a TV show that's about life. I mean, he had to come up with a funny joke every day. So all he could do is look around at life and make jokes about people in life. And that produced the show. So I'm going to pull this together. The thing I really want to share, the practical side of this, is the ultimate timeline system. When you create a system, and I know Michelle thought she was going to save David Allen and getting things done for me, but today we're going to let maybe somebody else grab onto that or you grab back onto it because today it's really about ultimate timelines. And when I say timelines or follow-ups, um, if you draw a timeline, like if you want to connect with someone and you want to stay in touch with them. For me in real estate, people move every 5 to 10 years. So I'm going to have a 10-year timeline to follow up with anybody that buys a property from me because in 5 to 10 years, they're going to move again. And I don't want to lose touch with them after they sell or buy their property, whatever it is, right? So we have a 10-year timeline that has all these ticks and touches over the next 10 years. How the heck am I going to remember to follow up somebody with 5 years from now when they're actually thinking about moving again, right? So our timeline is just all these touches for the next 10 years that once I turn that system, once I plug a name into that timeline, I just do what it says to do next. I'll explain this just a little bit further and try not to take up too much more time on it. But I will have, like in 5 years, my message that might be going out to them, whether it's email, whether it's mail, whether it's whatever it is, a phone call, is like, hey, is closets getting full? The garage starting to accumulate a lot of junk? Are you running out of space? Are you outgrowing your home? Because they're already thinking about moving, right? By 10 years down the road, we're talking about, do you know what your houses are worth in your neighborhood today? Because in 10 years, that value's probably doubled, right? So those are things that really go into heavy marketing during that timeline. And the timeline or the system, which I'll give you a real easy one to set this up with. But that is telling me, hey, it's been 5 years. So 5 years from now, hey, it's been 5 years for this guy. You're at the 5 year mark. Send this message out. So let me kind of pull this back so I can organize it over the call here, and you can get something to take away. The simplest way to do it is like if you want to follow up, if you want to make sure that everybody you meet from this day forward you don't lose touch with, just a simple, say, just call it 8 touches from the time you meet somebody today, that you're going to touch them 8 times in the next 8 weeks, and you're just going to be top of mind for them, and you're not going to lose touch with them, right? So I have a simple spreadsheet that, first of all, you would draw a timeline, and it'd be from today to 2 weeks out. And I'm going to put 8 ticks in there. And those 8 ticks, now I'm going to look at those ticks or touches. So it's going to be every week, every 7 days. I'm going to do an email the first week. I'm going to mail something the second week. I'm going to text something the third week. The something doesn't matter. Do not get caught up in this. The fourth week, I'm going to have a call reminder. The fifth week, I'm going to have a touch them on social media, connect with them on social media. The sixth week, I'm going to have another email. The seventh week, I'm going to have another text. And the eighth week, I'm going to have another phone call. Those would be my ticks, for example, right? And so what I would do is listen to this. Just take a spreadsheet. First column, their name. Second column, their address. Third column, their phone number. Fourth column, their email. The next column is touch one, which is to send a note. And then I'm in the next column on the spreadsheet, I'm going to 7 day delay. And I'm just going to put 7 through there. So that if that first time I meet somebody, I'm going to put the date in that first column that I met them and sent the note. And then I can always look at my spreadsheet and go, oh, it's been 7 days since I sent that note. The next column says touch two, send an email. And I'll put the date in there when I send that email. And then the next column has sevens through it. Wait 7 days to make the next touch. And if I look at that date every day on that spreadsheet and I just look at when the last 7 day dates were, then I just do the next column. The third column is mail them something. 7 day delay. The next column is send a text. 7 day delay. The next column is the phone call. 7 day delay. That's a real simple spreadsheet that I've come up with, that there is a way you can automate this in a database with campaigns and action plans, but this came out of coaching where a database maybe didn't allow them to do some of these touches in these medium formats. And this actually is a almost better way because you have a visual in front of you that when you get sidetracked, you're going to look at your spreadsheet one day and go, oh, I'm a week behind because I got sucked up into a project for the last week and it took all my time, or I was saving this deal or whatever. And you can just pick up where you left off and put the next date in the next column and go 7 days from then. So hopefully I gave you a good visual on that. It took a little while to explain it. So anyway, I'm going to get this mic off so we can keep the conversation rolling.
Woohoo! Amazing! So many notes I took, and as you were sharing all about these habits and the patterns that we're seeing in our lives, in our personal, in our business lives, you made me think of as you were sharing all these beautiful steps. And I'm gonna go back and listen to it again, and you guys can do the same thing. You can go back and listen to the replay and take even further notes. You made me think of something last night Tony Robbins shared in his inner circle. He was talking about patterns in life, and he was saying exactly what you were sharing about the ultimate timelines. We have the patterns of seasons, we have the patterns of history, and we have the patterns of even of our businesses, of our market, of our clients. And as you were giving the example, he says there are 3 things that you can do in order for you to be more productive. One, become aware of these patterns, recognize, just like you were giving in the example. Um, look in with yourself, look in with your market, get to know your market when things are going on and when things are going off. And when you recognize even your customers' patterns, the second thing that can be done is to utilize that pattern. And that example you gave, like sending them messages and connecting with them, building that communication, Such a great example of utilizing their patterns in a way that we get to serve them. Also, this is rapport building. And the third thing is first recognize, to utilize, and then create a pattern. What you were saying about wait for 7 days. Now you take the lead and you are creating that pattern. So you are, in a way, leading the customers and your followers, or even in our relationships where we can lead others. So, great example. Thank you so much for this share. You always bring in these systems in place, which makes it very effortless for everyone. With that said, it's